Well, Dr. Ceesay hasn't changed. What old Dr. Ceesay are you talking about? That is not, that is not important, Peter. What Dr. Ceesay, new doctors, that is not important. What is important is that I deduced three things from Coach Samba views. Not only this one, but even previously. Number one, Coach Samba is unfair. Number two, he's not a Democrat. Coach Samba can speak his mind and attack the government and attack anyone. Once you come to say your views about the government, he goes on the attack again. That's not democracy. He is free to attack and criticize the government. We are also free to talk about the positive things of the government. That's democracy. So why is Coach Samba agitated whenever you talk about the good things of this government? What I said is very clear, and he hasn't responded to my query that the accusations levied against ministers in this government that they are corrupt. Let them bring the evidence. That was my point. I'm not saying that the government, the entire state...
Abasanyan, case in point.
No, but case in point.
Abasanyan.
But those actions were done when he was as a governor at
yeah, because this government is still not being honest.
No, what I'm saying.
It's still not being honest about the wetlands, being allocated and all of that.
But investigations are on. This is the first time ever that government proactively comes out to disclose investigations and to disclose malpractices within the system. This is the first time ever the government is transparent. It has never been transparent ever in the history of this country. It is transparent. And it is accountable to the people. But that is not the issue. The issue at hand is that Coach Samba knows that under the regime of His Excellency President Barrow, the Gambia is much freer now for people to speak their mind. There are no political exiles across the world. There is nobody living in exile right now as opposed to before. Nobody disappears like that. Coach Samba, you could
We're
not
talking about imprisonment and persecution. That is the issue here.
Name me one who is persecuted politically in this country, or who is persecuted because of speaking their mind. Name me one.
It's not just politicians that
there
are
no persecution.
Look, activists
the issue,
and
who is persecuted? Name me one person.
Mali Jabate was given. Even yourself, you were named.
No. Listen, my case was that I made a statement. The police made an assessment thinking it was a threat.
Wasn't that part of your freedom of speech?
But Peter, that is not important.
Today it is not.
It's not. No, what I'm saying is that we cannot bring in issues to say that because of one or two things has happened.
You wanted examples.
No, my case is what the president was. Let's not deviate from the context. The president said that since he came to power, no person has been jailed, no journalist has been jailed, and no political activist has been, and that is the fact. And if Coach Samba is fair,
for 6 days or more, he told you the case of Bora.
What I'm saying
this
is
Bora fellow at Kirfatu.
I think all of us should know the difference.
You know about Bora.
What I'm saying is that
do you know about Bora?
If you want us to have a discussion, if you make a point, let me make my point. There's a difference between arbitrarily jailing someone or arresting someone, prosecuting him, taking him to the courts and jailing him in mile 2 is different from the police making an assessment that somebody's actions are a violation of the law and they call you for questioning. That's a totally different thing. We accept that the police are doing their job. These are policing issues. They can call on someone for questioning to build a case. But this is the fact. And Peter, let's admit it. I mean, if we are fair, if we are really being fair, both me, yourself, and Coach, and anybody else, since this government came to power, no activist, no politician, no journalist has been arbitrarily arrested and taken to mile 2. Or nobody has been arrested and taken to a process because of your views and taken to... It has not happened. And I haven't seen it yet. You haven't given me an example. The example to give me are issues where the police are doing their job, seeing an issue that needs further investigation, calling for questioning. These are two different things.
Ismaila.
So Coach Samba should at least give the devil its due. He was in exile. He could not come to Gambia. Now he can come. We eat super when he comes. And we meet at barbecues when he comes. That is the free Gambia, the new dispensation. He has to accept that. But also he needs to be a bit more democratic. He has a right to criticize. And we have a right to talk about the goods of the government. But once you come out to say one good thing, he criticizes you. He's not democratic. That is anti-democratic.
And you are responding to him?
Of course.
Yeah.
He's anti-democratic.
So it's all part of the dialogue. And this is what we encourage here.
That's what I'm saying. Coach is not democratic because Coach can criticize. Coach will criticize. I'm telling you. I mean, he will criticize. Nobody says anything. But if you come to say the good things, He criticizes you for saying the good things.
So
he needs to be a bit more democratic. He can criticize, but let him allow us also to say the things that are good about the government. Not everything is bad.
That is the right you are enjoying right now.
Everybody's enjoying it.
In principle, throwing me in detention in mile 2 and dragging me from my home and holding me in Quinella, which is not officially designated as a prison, what is the difference?
The difference is huge.
Yeah,
that since what the president said in his speech, and I think let's not deviate from that speech, this whole argument boils down.
You're going back to the president.
No, that is the speech.
I just asked you a simple question. Let me say it again and listen carefully.
Yes.
Throwing me or holding me in detention at mile 2, which is the officially designated prison, all right? Or holding me in detention in some unidentified place.
What unidentified place? Who has been kept in unidentified place?
This Bora fellow.
Was not kept with identified. Everybody knew where he was.
Where was he?
He was at anti-crime. It's not unidentified.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
being held at anti-crime.
It's not unidentified.
Where people don't have access to him, where he can't walk about freely, where he's probably unable to use his phone. What is the difference?
When the police
one is officially designated a prison, but it's the same thing. He's denied all his rights.
It's totally different.
Well, give me the difference.
The difference is that when the police are making their investigations on an alleged crime, they have a right to hold you incommunicado if they believe that you coming to contact with the public can undermine their investigations, but also undermine evidence. That's police's job.
So that is happening. That is happening right now in the Gambia.
I am not saying it is happening. What I'm saying is that if the police believe
I'm asking you a question. Is it happening or not happening?
I cannot answer that question. I cannot get into policing work. That's operational policing job. What I can tell you is that anywhere in the world, Peter, give me the chance to just land.
Go ahead.
Anywhere in the world, when the police suspect that there's a crime, and they call you in for questioning, and they are operating within the framework of the law, which is a 72-hour time frame, they have the liberty to do their job without interference, as long as they operate within the framework of the law. In all these cases you have mentioned, I have not seen any case where the police have acted outside the framework of the law. That is what is important. Now, when it comes to mile 2, we all know what was happening here before. When they arrest, they take you straight to mile 2 and keep you there. That is not happening anymore. It's not happening anymore. Let us admit the fact, Peter. I mean, let's be fair. We can criticize, but when things are good, let us talk about the good things. Sometimes you guys put it this, everything is negative, 100% negative. What is good about this country? What is good? Let's talk about it sometimes. That which is good about this country.
You do that every day.
We can't be talking about that that which is negative about this country. Recently, the IMF published a report a couple of days ago saying that our economy is going to grow by 5.8%, and that inflation has decreased to single figures from 18 point something to 9 point something. It's not headline news. Court will not talk about it because it's a positive things. You did not talk about it in your program because they are positive. Let us make sure sometime, Peter.
I could use the L word on you. I could bring out a recording where what you are just saying, you would hear me chair a conversation where we spoke about this.
Well, I apologize. I missed it. Then I apologize. I take that back. I missed
to use the L word against you.
No, don't use it because I've apologized. But anyways, going forward, what I'm saying is that, Peter, sometimes not everything is negative. There's good news coming from Banjul. But court will never discuss that good news. The only time court intervenes is when bad news comes from Banjul.
I'm going to come back to my question.
Yes.
Are people being picked up, being held incommunicado by the police during the course of this Barrow government? Yes or no?
I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of it. What I know is that the police are doing their job.
It happened with Mamadou Sabally, who is now with you.
Was he held incommunicado?
He was held incommunicado.
I'm not aware of that.
He was held
I'm not aware of that. You know what incommunicado is? You don't have access to visits, to phone calls, to anything.
I know what incommunicado is.
I know what I'm saying. I'm not aware of that. Okay. I know what with Mamadou Sabally, I knew he had visits.
You go when you go back to Mamadou Sabally and tell him to be honest, he will tell you whether he was held
if it happens, is it illegal?
What about Mahdi Jobate?
But I cannot go into individual cases. What I can tell you is what is happening broadly speaking in this country. That rights are being respected, there's freedom of the media, and nobody is persecuted anymore for political views. People sit on the radio every day insulting the president, insulting the government, criticizing the government. Nothing is happening. Let's talk about that.
Nobody has insulted the president on this program.
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying on this program. Well, what I'm saying is that in this country today, people speak their mind.
He gets criticized a lot.
He gets criticized. He gets insulted on WhatsApp forums. He gets insulted by people.
WhatsApp is not
on social media, and people go home to sleep and nothing happens to them. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that which is positive as well. Yes, the police do their job. In the course of doing their job, some people might feel uncomfortable, but that is policing job. That's operational policing job. What I can tell you, overall, the environment today in the Gambia is far different from what used to obtain in this country. People are much freer. Nobody is persecuted. Nobody is disappeared forcefully. Nobody is forced to go on exile. No, nobody. Politically or as an activist. Nobody is forced to go on an exile. People are free to speak their mind. They are from this press. And the indicators are saying that. Let's talk about that. The isolated incidences where the police are doing their job to discomfort of some people should not be headline news.